Pop, 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 pass the popcorn, 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 pass the popcorn.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Rob Jarosinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer, Carrie Jarosinski, and trying to hold his composure after, much like you all, hearing our new Pass the Popcorn theme song, our very own critic in residence, Tim Brayton. Tim.
Yes, Rob.
First time you have had a chance to hear it.
You made a point of saying, here's the link, but don't listen to it. So even though I wanted to, I didn't. It's not because I was lazy. It's not because I don't like listening to things on my phone. It was a choice.
Yeah.
It was a choice not to listen to that. But no, first time I've heard the theme song.
Good
instant,
choice.
Seconds before this recording.
So we actually helped. We got help from our Patreons. We sent out like a little bit of the origin story of what you've just heard. I was driving.
You mean the animals dying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was driving to.
Oh, is that what that shrieking was at the end? I thought it was your children.
No. It was
yes,
animals dying.
Yes, animals dying, also known as
Wait,
AKA as our children.
where are the girls?
Yeah.
Well, you'll have more time to record at least, so that's good.
The origin story of that song, because people always ask us, like, where did the original alternate ending theme song go? It like that one originated much like this one. Is I was just driving. In this case, I was driving to go work out, and then like in pop my head is like this beautiful acapella. Not beautiful because I didn't do a good job
No, you
with
didn't.
it.
That was very horrible.
But I was like, I have this idea of Pass the Popcorn, and like everybody coming in, a little bit inspired by that really annoyingly like very watchable Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds.
Tim's not seen this.
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel I had a much more high-minded and complimentary thing that I was going to compare it to.
Oh well, thank you.
And now I don't know if I should, because now I feel like I'm going to look like a big old dumbass.
No, I think you should.
It felt very Pet Soundsy. It
Okay.
felt. I had some like some Beach Boys.
Yeah, little Beach Boys.
Like I had some of the
Sure.
the God only knows feeling going on.
Okay.
Which one's that?
That's what
God
I-
only knows. How does that one go
God
again?
only knows what I'd be without you. And then towards the end, you've got like all the, and it's like
Yes.
it's 5-part harmony for 5 damn tenors, which is like
Yes.
you have to be some sort of wizard to do that.
And then the cat murder comes. Yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
idea popped in my head. Again, it was the Will Ferrell thing is I can see blue, I can see brown, I can see violet skies, and then
Woo,
like you start.
that
I know
was
that last part was bad.
little autocorrect there.
And then like they start rotating, and then you have to go back through and a cappella yourself and like do the harmonies yourself. And so Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds did that. Anyway, came up with the idea. I was very excited about it. Brought it home. We had dinner with the girls, and I played it for them, and they laughed at me, and they thought it was ridiculous.
When do I get to hear your demo, Rob?
Play it now.
Should I play it now?
Play
I
it
don't-
now.
I don't know if it'll come through on.
Well,
on
well,
the,
here's
No,
the
no,
magic,
no,
the magic of
definitely.
editing.
Magic
The
of
magic of
editing.
editing.
Magic of editing.
You're going to play it,
Yes.
and then you're going to edit it in. So,
Okay.
so make a note of this time code.
All right, and we are playing it now.
Pop, 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 pasta, pop, pop, pasta, pop, pasta popcorn, pasta popcorn, pasta popcorn, pasta popcorn, pasta popcorn, pasta popcorn, pasta pop, 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 pasta.
I'm transcending the human right now. My consciousness has stepped out of my body.
Yeah,
And is now hovering above us in this room,
this is how art is
just
made,
sort of dissolving into mist.
Yes, yes. So that was.
What was wrong with you?
But look what it turned into. This is how all. This is just a little germ.
I feel
Just a
like
little germ of an
my
idea.
eyes have like fallen out of my head and are sitting on the table.
So the kids thought that they could, and Carrie thought that they could one up that. So we started doing what do you call them? Like when you do like the
Rap battles.
yes.
It's kind of like a rap battle with like what do you call those barbershop type? Sure,
pretend.
So I started low, and then everybody.
Yeah, I
in
heard
the
you
family,
start low. That felt like you were like hammering your balls with a fucking 2x4 to get some of those notes going on.
I think Carrie, you went next. in the
Yeah,
lineup.
but I have a lower voice than you. So you were like,
Yeah.
I can see blue. And I was like, I can see blue. Like I'm lower. So it didn't work
we
at first.
did the round with the kids plus a neighbor, and we had fun with it. And I sent it over to someone very talented, Adam Blotner, I believe is his last name, and over at Fiverr, and just for inspiration. And he came up with what you heard, and then as just a very nice token and little memory, he attached the last piece of the kids' version along with mine, our version. So, So
to clarify, was the dead cats that Carrie was referring to, there was a cat present when you were playing this demo, and it just spontaneously exploded?
no cats were harmed in the making of this.
I mean, I feel like my cats will be harmed when I get back home.
If you
just
ever
by
play
the
this.
the psychic aura currently radiating out of my body.
There were
They're gonna start
There was
hissing
a
at
lot
you.
of feedback on, because we didn't just share the
feedback.
finished product. we shared 4 versions of that theme song. There was the original version, not mine, the original produced version, which also included popcorn sounds in the background, which I thought were delightful.
Oh, no.
Apparently they became very triggering. Carrie called it. Carrie said you can't go with the popcorn sounds,
It has
needs
this,
to be,
like-
and it
Did it
also needs to
sound
be
like
shorter.
did it sound like it was a gun battle?
No,
No, it sounds like
I'll tell you what
popcorn
it
popping in the
sounds like.
background.
Do you know when you hear static on a TV and it like prickles your eardrums, and it's a huge misophonia trigger where it's like
I'm not familiar
clickies?
with the word misophonia.
You don't? Oh, it's like where the hairs in your ear are really more sensitive. So like as an example, like most of the times that Rob is eating, I like am secretly plotting his murder.
Is that like an actual sensitivity though, or is that just after X number of years of married life, you cannot spend any amount of time with your partner without wanting to just throttle the life?
I've thought about that. I think it's a little bit of a combination,
Okay.
but I do think with age, I've just gotten more sensitive. So like every swish of the oatmeal is like, it's just so bad. It's like it
sure.
moves around in there, and because he has these thin little cheeks, it's like
he's got tiny little
tiny little
stuff there.
cheeks. You got to like pad these things. Like me, you can't hear a thing in here. It's very well insulated. For Rob, it's just like
I'll
gooey.
think of some cheek implants.
It's like
Yeah.
gooey inside there, and it's awful. So the song originally had this like clicking noise, and I was like, ooh, I'm never listening to this podcast ever again, because it was like pricking my ears. And
So
it wasn't
overwhelmingly, our
Overwhelming.
patrons picked 58% of the vote picked the shorter version and the one without popcorn noises.
Okay.
And they pleaded.
And
that
that's
the
'cause there
popcorn
wasn't
noises-
an other
if that
option.
was the shorter version you played for
Yes.
me, then there maybe should potentially have also been an ultra short version.
Oh, wow, very good.
Oh, I don't.
But no, I liked it. It was
Yeah, I
good.
don't
It made me
disagree.
think of the Beach Boys. That made me feel good.
That's good.
I just
Yeah.
want to say, in terms of, you wanted it to sound like popcorn. Are either of you familiar with the late '60s, early '70s techno song? I believe it was the first entirely electronic #1 hit, "Popcorn."
No.
It's fun. It's this kind of like bouncy. It's an instrumental, and it's like these digital like bloops and it sounds like popcorn, but it's like digital popcorn.
But is it actual like the sound of a kernel popping?
No, the entirety of it is made off of synthesizers. It's wholly electronic. There's no actual piece of instrument. No physical
Okay.
sounds were produced.
Well, that'll be something that
Listen to
It's
that.
a delightful song. You should look it up.
Well, so you see what we've been up to, Tim. What have you been up to in this last week? 'Cause it's only been a week since
Well,
we've
it's
seen
only
you.
been a week. I've been up to something that I think all the readers of the site have certainly noticed. If you're a podcast exclusive listener, you probably think all is well. If you're a reader, you're probably wondering if I'm dead. I have published, I believe, 2 reviews in the last 14 days, which is not good.
It's not great.
It might be my record low, actually.
You know what's disappointing? This was the week that I actually went out to the site and was going to read some things. The first time ever in 7 years. And yeah.
He's like, I
I
wonder what
get it.
Tim's
I
thoughts
get
are
it.
on this movie.
I was
and
like,
then there's
I
nothing
guess
there.
I'll try back in 7 years.
Yeah.
So I have been hard at work in my sort of alter ego. I'm currently Batman, crawling through the dark Gotham City at night of bad movies, trying to share with all of you the good movies using my various critic related bat paraphernalia. But my daily life is Bruce Wayne, which is where I do need to spend most of my time. I am a graduate student. I am currently TAing the class that is sort of famously the hard class to TA, and boy, that's true. I'm not going to go into that, but I did hit a very big milestone just yesterday. I have turned in a draft of a chapter of my dissertation.
Oh, wow.
So that was a huge thing. It is off my plate. I get to spend at least a few weeks not thinking about chapter 2. And by a few weeks, I mean probably 3 days, because I meet with my advisor in 3 days. But I don't have to, I get at least a little bit of a breather. So I am going to start writing again. Thank you all for being patient. Hopefully by this point, and I should be careful of making promises for things I haven't done yet, but hopefully by this point, you've already seen a review of Parallel Mothers on the site.
Whoa, hold on. I'm going there. I want to see a review of that.
It's not there yet.
Okay.
It is there
In
in
spirit.
the future.
In the
Tim,
future.
after this episode has been released and published, hopes to have written it. Present Tim has written 150 words of it, and he wrote those words 5 days ago.
Nice.
But yeah, so review of Parallel Mothers. Hopefully by the Monday this is published, you'll see a review of Moonfall, if I can get to it, and a Patreon review of Eraserhead. So thank you everyone for your patience, especially my apologies and thanks to the Patreons who've been very good about not demanding your money back as I just whoosh by one deadline after another. I am going to be devoting so much time to getting those Patreon reviews knocked out now that I have, like, again,
Now that you're
a
free
month.
for 3
I have
days.
a month.
Yeah.
I have a good month before I start to have to feel guilty about not writing my
So those
dissertation again.
following along at home as far as the timeline of, your grad school process and your PhD process. So like chapter 1 is done. Like where does that fall in the timeline of or not done, draft is done. Where does that fall in the timeline? Like, is it one of 30 chapters?
No, it is one of 3.
Oh, okay.
And I have been promised that the first chapter is the hardest, the birthing like children, right? It takes hours of great anguish to force your first child out of your uterus, but then after that they just kind of slide out.
Yeah,
Like
I
jelly
can
beans.
attest to that. Yeah.
Have you thought about mentioning to your professors that you've decided to do it in 3 chapters because movies are in a 3-act structure?
I would be
they're
thrown
not
out
aware.
because UW-Madison has pioneered the idea that movies are all 4 acts, actually.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, there goes
I would be censured.
Yeah.
What I recommend not doing, Rob, is possibly asking the same questions I did on the way over of like, I was trying to problem solve how he could make this easier. So I was like, what if, because he's like, I've got 42 pages in this one
Is
chapter.
that, oh, wow. That's how Tim talks. Okay.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, and I said, if you need 3 chapters, why don't you just make
so
them
I'm hearing-
12-page chapters?
That was a good thought. So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is that I apparently sound like Jimmy Stewart doing a Sean Connery impression.
You do. Yes, you do.
Okay.
That was actually pretty good.
I mean, I feel like if that's what you're doing a great job of it. If
Yeah.
you're doing me, I need to
Then it's a little
kill
off.
myself.
Then it's a little bit off.
In a way.
Yeah,
It's a little off.
Carrie's ideas are like, hey, Dave, have you tried like double space or
Oh,
change
gosh,
the
yeah.
font size or
I mean, here's
the
the
font
thing.
type?
You don't have to change.
my margins. I'm running 1.1 inch margins.
Oh
right
wow! Here's another tip. I think it's Cambria. I'm not sure exactly. One of them is a little bit wider. They're never gonna know. And then if you go from like a 12 to a 12.5, I almost feel like you could be done with this dissertation.
Even if you 12.4, you round down,
exactly.
it's still 12.
Yeah.
So
I just think, Tim,
Unfortunately, the document I submitted to my advisor also has a word count on it.
we'll noodle on that.
all right,
We'll
yeah,
come up with
we'll
something.
brainstorm. So here's the real test, Tim, because you tell us how busy you are. I'm really curious. How many movies have you seen in the last week? So I heard Moonfall. That's a new movie. That's a new
new
release.
motion picture.
Yeah.
I
saw that
I
on a
went on
date?
an outing with a friend who was in from town.
'Cause you usually
and my
come in
partner,
here-
and we all went to see, and we saw it on the IMAX.
Oh, nice. As all Roland Emmerich films should be seen.
As this Roland Emmerich film needed to be seen, I
Yes.
thought.
Yeah. So yeah, you usually come here bragging about your movie counts.
I might go and be bragging this time. Let's see. I'm pulling it up right now, and I'm gonna be
How
so
many have you seen while he's pulling it up?
I also had a bit of a down week. We were cruising, trying to get ready. Actually, with travel, that allowed us to have a little bit more time. We ended up, I think, with 3 movies, unless you snuck one in there, which is good for us.
That'd be unlikely for me. Yeah.
Okay, 3 movies a week's a good rate. You already mentioned Tampopo. Maybe you haven't. By Patreon, Travis Neely.
I have. I saw I think it might be Tampopo though.
It's not.
Nope.
It's no.
Nope.
What? Say it again then.
That's Tampopo.
Okay, and then just
I'm
delete out
probably not pronouncing it
Tampopo.
like with the right enunciation, but
I'm really excited to talk about that
oh,
one.
we also Carrie finally allowed me to show Temple of Doom. So we went chronological.
I got
with the
weird about
kids.
that. We'll
chronological
get there.
release date or chronological story
Sorry,
date?
story date.
So we went with Temple first.
No one understands that though. It's nonsense to call it a prequel. It is just baffling nonsense
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
It was the one that we'll get there, but that's the
You know
one
what?
that he could
That's
get
the way,
me to do.
But also, that is the way that I didn't even know about Raiders of the Ark. Last Ark?
Raiders of the Ark.
I don't even know the title.
I knew about the Ark Raiders first because of the snake scene.
Yeah.
I enjoyed scenes of snakes in motion pictures.
Yes.
And of course, there are snake scenes in all of the
Yes.
films, but the best snake scene, I would say.
So maybe we'll have a chance to talk a little bit about that. And then when we come back for a break, we are required to talk a little bit about Moonfall.
All right.
I think we all made poor decisions in selecting Moonfall.
My poor decision was that I only saw it once on opening weekend, and I'm not boosting its box office take.
Yeah, it's hurting. I think there was in our Discord, which I welcome everybody to share. It's a nice free flowing conversation on a number of different topics, not just with film, but we had a little bet going, a little sidebar going on whether Moonfall would take the box
Jackass.
office or Jackass forever.
Oh, good God, that was not even a race.
Yeah,
That's like saying who's going to win the race, the tortoise, the hare, or the chicken that has actually been crushed and is dead, and the blood is oozing out of the chicken all over the ground.
I think I just wanted Moonfall.
And that's like
You
taking
wanted
that's
it
like
to be
taking
good.
it over on the
be,
chicken.
I wanted it to be good. I wanted my big dumb movie, and I got something else.
That's big and dumb. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I also can't bring myself to pay theatrical money to see Jackass. Like I need to. That's an at home type experience.
I can. I'll pay
Unless
money.
it's Jackass 3D.
I am pondering seriously having Jackass be the movie with which I formally renounce my pledge to see every movie that goes to number one, because I cannot fathom writing a review of it.
Yeah, right.
Like, how
What is-
not?
Like what does a review of that movie? Does it just? Do you rank the bits in terms of how funny they are?
No.
Like
You do a compare and contrast. You do a look back. You do a retrospective on all the Jackass
I
movies that have
have
preceded
never
it.
seen the other Jackass movies.
because he's been protected by the.
Do you guys want me to
clause,
tell you
the
what
number
they're
one
about?
clause.
I can tell you what they're
They're
about.
about
They're
men
amazing.
taking crotch shots with footballs.
Oh, so much more.
So in the
though.
history
So
of
much
your
more.
review writing, Tim, have you ever not done a number one box office?
I didn't start doing it officially until I believe February of 2009, and I've missed some.
Okay.
Including, I believe, a Jackass. I think Jackass 3D fell in the window when I was doing number ones.
Well, at least you're being consistent then if you stick with that. So
That's right. All right,
Yeah, I
Tim.
don't
So
know
how many
I
have you
don't know.
seen?
So I have seen 6, but one of them was only 30 minutes long. So let's call it 5.
okay,
Okay.
so you are.
Okay.
It is a down week. Yeah. All right, Care. Well,
What do you want me to start with?
start with Tampopo.
I don't even
we'll
know
start with
where.
some Patreon
I'm going to
picks.
embarrass myself. So I'm so sorry in advance. It is Tampopo. Tampopo.
It's Tampopo.
Tampopo.
I've only ever in my life heard it referred to as Tampopo.
Sorry, Tam.
If you
Popo.
prefer, call it Dandelion.
Oh,
Because
I do like
that's
I
what
like
it means.
that. I like that. I'm going to go with Tampopo. I got it now. So this is from Patreon, Travis Neely. He has gifted us some gems in the past. So going into this, my hopes were a little bit
Travis,
high.
you challenge us, and I like that.
You know what the challenge that he gives us is? I immediately, when I start watching every movie he suggests, thinks, oh, great, this is a punishment. And then like 10 minutes in, I'm like, I'm kind of enjoying myself.
Yeah,
this
this is not a movie that you would expect us to
No.
enjoy or sit through.
No.
And yet,
And I never
Did we?
would have. I never would have. But then there's always this turn in whatever movie it is where I'm like, do I love this? Like, I don't know. But I definitely realize that it's meant to be kind. Like, I always get that in every movie. So let me tell you a little bit about Tampopo. So I actually don't know how to say this. This is what do you call this movie?
may I try?
No.
With my Letterboxd review?
Yeah.
Okay. So my Letterboxd review is as follows: Rocky plus ramen plus 8.5 weeks plus My Fair Lady equals Tampopo.
Okay.
How are we doing?
I get the Rambo thing. Yeah, for sure.
Rambo?
Did you say Rambo?
I said Rocky.
I meant
Very different.
I mean,
film.
Rocky plus ramen kind of is Rambo. If instead of being a Vietnam fighter, he was a tough as nails
ramen.
pasta
Ramen
cooker.
eater.
He's sitting there and he's eating his noodles and he's like, if only we hadn't pulled out of this noodle shop, I'd have been able to finish these noodles in the 70s.
Hey,
yo.
make me some ramen.
Gosh.
Your Sylvester Stallone is better, but my angry man is better.
That's true.
Yeah,
So
both
we'll
of
split
you.
the difference.
It was like, hey, Tampopo. Because Tampopo's a name of a person that's also in this. Instead of
Yeah,
Adrian,
yeah.
you know? Anyway, I digress. I go back.
Sorry, Travis. We'll get there.
So sorry, Travis. We loved this movie. So this is directed by Uzo Itami.
We'll go with that.
Okay. And like right there, that's the name.
Well,
And
you do pronounce the J in Japanese.
do. Gosh,
I was like,
maybe it
I
was
felt
silent.
sure there was a J. No, it's Juzo Itami.
Juzo Itami. So essentially, this is
Or really Itami Juzo, but we'll
we'll get there.
that's
Sure.
second level.
Second level. basically there's multiple stories that are happening. Is it 3? There's 3 individual stories that are happening here. There's the theater guy who's into the food stuff, the sexual food
I'd
things.
say there's a main plot, a subplot, and then there's like stuff that happens along the way where they kind of take like they veer off for a moment and then they come back. Is that that's how I would describe it.
So it feels like a little bit of a collection of stories. We're following different things that are happening. And this movie takes place in Japan.
Yeah. Remind me, what did you saw the person on
Don't
screen?
say it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. It was confusing some
On
of
a
the characters.
scale of 1 is nice liberal white lady who needs to learn more, and 10 is Ku Klux Klan, how racist was what she said?
I mean, Carrie is firmly in the 10 spot of the liberal, nice white lady who just needs to learn more about.
That was a 1.
Different,
that was a 1.
Oh, that was the one.
No,
Okay,
you got me in the
different-
KKK.
sorry. Just visual cues on different ethnicities.
Did you call them Chinamen?
Of course, I would never do that. I was confusing who some of the characters might be. I thought the one of the guys was in Shang-Chi. Rob was like, "No, it's not," and it was.
So you because they're Chinese in Shang-Chi.
It's a 5. I think the rating is a 5.
Do you think that they all look the same?
I do not think that at all. But this guy was familiar looking. So anyway, the cast in this movie is outstanding. Like the cast really comes to life. So like I was saying, there's one story that's happening. If you haven't seen this, I highly recommend it. If the one story is following this sort of like food S&M guy who's like really fancy, but has like this woman that he likes to, he has anger management issues, likes to go around and do all these things with food. He has a food obsession.
Some of those scenes were a bit tough to stomach.
Oh.
Wow, speaking of
I'm
harmonies.
leaving.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll make sense if you've seen this movie. And then there's the story that's my favorite part of it, which is this young woman named Tampopo who is trying to, after the death of her husband, get her ramen shop up and running so that it can be successful. And she is going through the greatest of lengths in order to do this. And it becomes like a comedy wrapped into a little bit of a love story, maybe wrapped into just sort of like Rob said, the Rocky of like, I'm going to do this, whatever it takes, whatever money I have, I'm going to put into this because I want to be successful.
It's as if Rocky and Mick fell in love.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's a very different version of Rocky.
Very, very different. But their little like whatever story is so cute. It goes off into some really quirky things, but the huge central focus of the entire movie is food. So like the through line for everything is
Some of the little
their
veerings
food.
were fun. Like there was
Yeah.
the noodle slurping, ordering expensive, the young corporate guy ordering really expensive things. Yeah, they were fun.
They're just fun.
Fun little
It's
side
a collection of really fun food-related stories, and then again, there's a focus on some more than others in terms of their significance. But at the same time, too, I thought this was funny. Rob and I were laughing throughout it. At the same time, too, I thought it was sweet. I thought it was fun, and something that we both you and I looked at each other and were like, I've never seen anything like this movie ever in my life.
It did make me very hungry, and we had just eaten too.
Just had eaten.
Yeah.
Some Vietnamese food too. So it also made me have this like appreciation.
Well, so it's
too,
basically the same thing.
Also,
right?
different region.
I didn't.
Right,
I was
Carrie?
just
So it's-
saying-
I mean-
I was saying it was a totally separate thought. I didn't say
It's
it was.
all what the Orientals
there was
eat,
the
right,
two.
Carrie?
There was the two. which-
Oriental is a brand, Tim, not a place.
Is it?
It is.
You sure about that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I want to see if I can gaslight you into using racial slurs.
I'm just so warm again. So anyway, vignettes is the word I was looking for. I just really, really enjoyed this. And I was curious on your guys' perspectives of it too. Like, Tim, is this a favorite for you? Or
Never seen it.
Whoa.
Never seen anything by Juzo Itami.
Oh,
Actually.
really?
Wow.
Why
this,
not?
This is the one that I need to. I want to see all of his stuff. He doesn't have that big of a filmography. It's mostly available on the Criterion Channel, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
It
right.
was- that's
it was
where
a
we caught it.
Criterion, and then it had the Janus logo
Yeah.
on the front as well too, which I know that's usually the mark of a movie that Karen and I will not care for.
It's a broad basket. You guys like the Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
Yes,
True.
Yes, we did.
I have seen the scene where the young man orders food.
Okay.
We watched that in a class on film comedy that I took here at UW-Madison.
Yeah, the turning red faces.
Yeah.
That was enjoyable.
You didn't tell. So what did you think? Did you like
No,
it?
I've been saying it. Yes, I've been
All
saying
along. So
I
I've
liked
been
it.
so nervous this whole time that I'm
Somehow,
gonna say the
all
wrong
of
thing.
those incongruous things that I mentioned in my equation.
Yeah.
Somehow it all worked.
Okay, I have one more thing I want to talk about this movie. Okay,
Okay.
I got to talk about the egg scene.
part I could have done without.
I could have done without
I
it. So
might have had to close my eyes for that part because
Yeah, you couldn't take it.
It was a bit too extended, a bit too much of an extended scene.
So I'll tell Tim what happens and tell me,
Into
Tim.
what bodily orifice does an egg go?
Into a mouth, but here's where it gets weird. It's like the food guy who's obsessed with food and bodies and sexual stuff cracks an egg and he drains it of the white, puts the yolk into his mouth, and you're like, ooh, that seems protein rich. But then
Again, flashbacks to Rocky.
Exactly. So he then transfers the yolk into the gal's mouth as a like.
So it's
turn
like
on.
snowballing.
It is egg balling.
We've
yes.
talked about snowballing before because I know I've walked
Yes.
into a
We've
hole
had a
on that
nice
one.
long conversation. I can't recall offhand which podcast episode it was. So
I can tell you what
how,
it was.
How about
It
I just
was-
redefine it for you
You don't need to
right now?
Is it a ball? Is it a ball thing?
Ultimately.
I
Check
forget what
back
the
with
snow
our
is.
the Snowman podcast.
It was
we
the
reviewed
Snowman
the movie The
podcast.
Snowman.
Yeah.
But just real quick,
I'll
if
check
you don't
back.
want to take that time,
No, I'll
to-
check back. I don't
it's when
mind.
you come in someone's mouth and then you eat the cum out of his or her mouth.
Oh.
Sure, but if
Yourself.
but
You
only
who
if,
did the coming.
I would
only
never do
if
that,
you did
no.
not stop there, and then there were like
And then you
Chunks
pass
in
it back
it.
and
If there were
forth.
eight
chunks in
more
it.
eight more handoffs.
Well, because as it gets passed back and forth between mouths and it mixes with saliva, it becomes tackier. So it doesn't get chunky. It gets sort of. I mean, I haven't done this. It sounds gross to me, but I understand that what would happen would be.
So at some point you've had to have Googled
It's
this.
sort of
though.
like well used
You're on
gum.
some sort of list.
Yes.
You're for sure on a list.
I'm sure I'm on lists that the CIA knows.
and
where I am at all
I'm
moments
fairly
of every
certain
day.
they do not cut away. So
No, they don't.
These two actors
So, Tim,
were
it's
very
like 7
intimate.
passes.
Oh, so
she
it's sort of
passes
like the
yolk.
Japanese food comedy version of the scene in Pink Flamingos when Divine eats a piece of dog shit.
And do they pass it back and forth 7 times?
No, there's only one person.
Oh,
but,
okay.
but we see a dog poop a little turd, and then without cutting, she puts it in her mouth. and eats
Oh, yeah.
it. So it's like that with eggs,
Yeah. I have.
which is way less gross.
I don't know
put
if
it
you guys
that
know
way.
this. I've never talked about this. It's very personal to me. But one of the reasons that I married Rob was I have the time.
Not sure where this is going.
What?
I don't know where you're headed. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm nervous.
For whatever reason, and I can't tell you why, there is only about 3 people that I've ever met in the entire planet that their spit doesn't gross me out. And Rob's one of them.
What Carrie is saying is that we'll be doing this egg challenge later.
I don't want to do this, but I'm saying I would use your
Will you
toothbrush.
film it?
Yeah. Oh,
I
it'll
would
be on
use your
TikTok.
toothbrush in a
For-
pinch.
for
TikTok
Patreon.
egg challenge.
I wouldn't do that with
Okay.
anybody else. So I always felt like, well, I have to get into this because you're in such a small group of people that I would actually touch your spit.
Yeah, we might as well try
More-
what spit
yeah,
activities
More
there are.
germane than would I suck the spitty egg yolk out of someone else's mouth? Would I want a raw egg yolk in my mouth?
Period.
Period.
Yeah.
And the answer to there is no.
No, texturally, I would have a huge problem with it.
Yeah, there was a day I might have shared this story on the air. My friend and I, he's a listener, so he'll probably recognize the story. My friend and I used to go to this really fancy ass molecular gastronomy restaurant in Chicago called Next, and
It's expensive.
it's expensive, but it was a treat. It was like the only thing I was spending money on for like a couple years. So we went. Before we went to Next to another restaurant in the same bank of like fancy, lovely restaurants, to this really wonderful bar called the Publican. If you're ever in Chicago, go
Oh,
to the
sure.
Publican.
So good.
And he knew the staff very well, so he sometimes got like little appetizers.
Little
Like,
extra.
hey, it's this guy. Let's give him something. And so on one particular day, and I might be conflating, but it's good enough for the story. On one particular day, the appetizer they kind of comped us was French fries with a fried egg. So like there was egg yolk, and you sort of mashed up the egg yolk, and you ate it with the French fries. And then we went over to Next, and one of the things that was served was an entire squab, broken into pieces, little pigeon-like bird.
Gross.
Entire. Like the idea here was don't waste it. Don't waste any of the things you can actually eat. So one of the things that we were served was the squab's skull with its brain, and you sucked the brain off like an oyster. Have I talked about this on the air?
No, I
'Cause Rob's had a squab.
I did that experience at Next.
Oh yes.
Yes.
So squab brains on the half skull. The egg yolk was such a harder bridge for me to cross than the squab brain, and it wasn't even close.
Wow.
I don't like egg yolk, like
But
at all.
how was the squab brain?
Very garlicky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love a good yolk, but I don't know.
Like eggs in general, the only preparation of egg that I like fine eating is scrambled. Every other preparation of egg is sort of a challenge for me.
No, it's when you really think about it, it's
pretty good.
what it is. Yeah,
It's not even think about it. Again, I ate a squab brain like it weren't no thing.
That's true.
I just don't like eggs.
Can I ask one more thing about the squab? Did you have to eat the feet, like all the?
No, but the bones had been charred, and you sort of gnawed on them to get the marrow out of them.
the marrow. Yeah,
I feel
think
like
they did
that is
something
a
with the blood,
worst,
too, if I recall.
worst
There was
case
a little
scenario.
pouch of like blood and organ sausage pate.
yeah, I remember that.
I would just die.
Was that the hunt?
It was the hunt.
Hunt.
Good-
I like
good
the hunt.
memory.
The hunt was
Yeah.
a
Rob
good
came
one.
home and I was like, you know what? Even though I love your spit, I can't be in this relationship anymore for a bit. Like it made me question it. Like,
So I have a
ugh.
coffee cup in front of me. If I were just like spit in the coffee cup from a height in front of you,
I wouldn't drink out of your coffee.
well, I'm not asking you. I'm just saying, would seeing it happen like be a problem? Would it gross you out? Sorry.
So it's twofold. One of them, I have a very distinct spit sensory smell thing. Like I can smell spit from far away. Oh, I've never noticed that you have a bad spit smell, but like if I got up close, I
Well,
might
we're gonna
notice.
work on that.
But yeah, it's
So,
just a thing.
Travis, thank
you,
you again for
Travis.
just like inviting this like conversation. Like,
Travis,
we've had a nice
I feel like
discussion
we have
just-
just done something horrible to you. But
Travis,
thank you for being
a Patreon,
supporter.
and thank you for bringing us this movie. I really, really enjoyed it. Rob did too. He was laughing a bunch. So this is Tampopo from 1985. If you also want to catch it, it's on the Criterion Collection, like you said. All right, Tim, what do you bring to the table?
So I also have a Patreon review. This one is thanks to Laurel Hose, who Rob and I
Yeah,
knew
Laurel.
back in the day. So thank
The
you,
coolest
Laurel.
person you guys went to school with.
I think this might have actually been assigned to you via her husband Michael.
Well, I knew Michael as well. I knew both of the Hoses.
the
and,
two coolest people you went
They
to
were
school
both fine people. Very, very happy to have seen this movie thanks to them. And the movie in question is Paul Verhoeven's 1977 World War II epic Soldier of Orange, the film that not this first big deal film. He had already by this point made a film called Turkish Delight, which was sort of where he got like he made his bones as a European art film director with Turkish Delight. But this is the one that really put him on Hollywood's radar. This story very famously goes, very famously for a very constrained definition of famous. George Lucas was so impressed by Soldier of Orange that he immediately called up Verhoeven and was like, I'm working on the third Star Wars film. I want you to direct it. Verhoeven decided to go out just to take a meeting, just to see what was going to happen.
Wow.
Probably wasn't going to take it, but wanted to see how the meeting went. By the time Verhoeven landed in Hollywood, Lucas had seen his subsequent film, Spetters, which is just full of aberrant sex, and had decided to cancel the meeting.
Give me the aberrant. What's the aberrant?
I haven't seen Spetters.
No, I meant what's aberrant mean?
Fucked up.
Oh, okay.
Wrong-headed
Okay.
and weird and nasty. And
I've been mispronouncing that word.
all,
How are you
I
calling
might
it?
be.
Abhorrent. I've
Abhorrent is different.
Oh, it's a different word. There you go. Then I haven't been mispronouncing
Have they
it.
been also having abhorrent
abhorrent
sex?
means that it's like horrible and wretched.
Got it.
Aberrant means that it's like just non-normative in a way that feels somewhat dysfunctional and kinky and weird.
Okay.
The snowballing.
Snowballing is very wholesome.
Aberrant.
Nothing. It's very good.
Okay.
It's a kind thing to do with the person you
I
love.
see. Never mind.
Anyway, so Soldier of Orange, based on the memoirs of a man who served in the Dutch resistance. Paul Verhoeven, of course, being a Dutch filmmaker. The screenplay, as I understand it, sort of compresses and mixes around and sort of mashes people together. So they fictionalize everybody's name, but sort of one step removed from reality. The author of this book is played by Rutger Hauer, who is probably the most famous of all Dutch movie stars, in part because of this movie. This was early in his career. And so it's this like big sprawling 2.5 hour plunge into, it starts right before the outbreak of war with a bunch of college students. And as the Nazis roll through the Netherlands, take over the government, oust the good queen. And in fact, if I understand the reference correctly, House of Orange is the ruling royal family of the Netherlands.
Oh,
so Soldier
sure.
of Orange is in reference to
Yeah,
that.
all of their soccer team is an example. Like it's all like orange. Yeah.
So-
Okay.
So
okay.
the soldiers who were loyal to the royal family in exile. In fact, the movie opens in 1945 with fake newsreel footage of the Queen returning in triumph to take the country back after the Nazis have been ousted. But so it's basically this just big sprawling story about these friends from college and how they navigate all of the complexities of life in the Dutch resistance, working alongside the British and sort of the tensions that arise from the British both being like a much stronger military source and also have their own country, whereas, you know, the Dutch are at this point under Nazi occupation, but also sort of very clearly feeling like the British are viewing them as like our lackeys while we are fighting the war. You guys are just going to kind of be there and like poke at Nazis with sticks for us. And there's interpersonal conflicts and, you know, women get involved and sex get involved. And it's just this big, you know, novelistic sprawl. Really, really found it. It's a weird push-pull response because on the one hand, I found it just a terribly satisfying grand scale story about a part of the war that doesn't really get a cinematic treatment. We don't, I think, see very many Dutch films in general. I didn't really, I guess in principle, I knew there was a Dutch resistance because every country had a resistance, but I don't think I'd ever thought about it particularly. This was the most expensive Dutch movie ever made at 2.5 million of whatever the Dutch spend, which made it very, very cheap by American standards. But, so this big, sprawling, wonderful epic, very, very lived in, very great performances, very great details. At the same time, you know, the term, when I hear Paul Verhoeven, I'm thinking spetters, you know, I'm thinking showgirls. I'm thinking like, what sort of weird, bent, messed up, incredibly cruel, sophisticated satire is he going to spring on me? And it felt Oscar baity. And in fact, it was nominated for the Golden Globe for foreign language film.
What year is this?
77.
77. Okay.
I think it comes out in the States in 78. So like on the one hand, it's like, it's a really well made and very handsome version of the thing it is. And if you just said, here's this great Dutch war movie, I'd have been like, that is a great Dutch war movie. As a Paul Verhoeven film, it feels very like he's trying to play by the rules to show he can make this kind of movie. And he's not doing anything that's really putting a personalizing stamp on it. And what it really made me think of, his return to the Netherlands after his many years making Hollywood films with the 2006 film Black Book, which is also about the resistance and is much more of a Paul Verhoeven film about the resistance. And this in a lot of ways feels kind of like the warm-up film to that. Still had a really phenomenal time. Thought it was impeccably made, gorgeously shot. And the scenes, there are scenes that really do kind of like stand out to me. Like in a Verhoeven-esque sense, there's a scene where the main character's best friend, played by, and I'm going to slightly fuck up his first name, I think, Jeroen Krabbe, the other Dutch film actor that some Americans might be able to pin down. They're best friends, and the other one, the friend Krabbe, is sleeping with a woman, a British an intelligence agent, played by, oh damn, I should have put her name down.
Susan Penn.
Yes, Penn. Yes,
Susan P. Susan P.
Susan P.
She's fairly well known if you're sort of into the 70s art house thing. And so there's a scene where they like all crawl under the sheets together after they've just had sex. And it's kind of this weird like little moment. So moments like that stand out.
There's a little Verhoeven.
There's a little Verhoeven in there. Yeah. And there's other moments that stand out just because they're like good and not.
Is Verhoeven always on the sexual side?
Not in this case.
Benedetta.
Oh,
that director.
Oh, there were some things in there.
There were some things, and there are not really things.
Interesting. I think I like Benedetta more than I think I like Benedetta.
Benedetta's good.
I got to think back to it a little bit. So where do you stand on this star rating wise?
4.
Okay.
I'm in a 4-star. It's a great version of the thing it is. And it's one of those weird things. If it wasn't a Verhoeven film, I might even be at a 4.5. But because it is, I'm like, oh.
Feels restrained because you expect something
Why is there only one scene of Rutger Hauer slapping some sort of foul-smelling yellow liquid on his dick? Like,
only the one.
Only the one.
Is it a Vaseline situation?
It was not clear to me what it was. He's in a like military vessel, sitting nude in a hammock, and he's like just lathering himself up, and someone walks by and says like, that smells like puke, and I don't get what it is, but it happened in the movie.
And my last question on this was, what is this called again?
Soldier of Orange.
Soldier of Orange.
A little hard to lay hands on. I had to find it
carefully
through channels.
Okay.
I think this feels like a Rob movie to me, for real. I think you would.
A good dad movie too, right?
It's a dad movie.
Yeah,
it's a dad movie.
Which I would.
Well, it's a movie about World War II.
If I was sitting with my dad watching some guy put Vaseline on his peni, I would just be horrified.
You don't see his penis.
But you just assume that he's putting.
It's very clear that Rutger Hauer was not wearing any clothing on set, but his pieces that would make you feel uncomfortable to be with your father are kept framed out.
Okay. So it would be the kind of thing that we could just look away and be like, I didn't see anything kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that
But no,
sounds
good solid film. Thank you, Laurel and Michael. I had a really good time watching it. It's been this and Turkish Delight have been two really big gaps in my knowledge. So I've caught up with this one. Actually, at the same time that I found it, I also found Turkish Delight, so I'll be catching up with that one soon as well.
Oh, fun!
keep
So
an
it
eye
led
on
to
Letterboxd.
another thing there. Another film for you there in the Verhoeven collection. I want to talk just briefly about Temple of Doom before we head to a break. Speaking of naughty bits. There's a scene in there, Care, where Harrison Ford describes the Prime Minister, I believe, of India is
like your biggest takeaway
is asking
from this
him,
movie.
didn't the Sultan of Madagascar want
Try to chop
your head? And he said, no, it wasn't my head. Well, then your arms, wasn't it? And then he says, no. And then he looks down, Care.
Yeah,
He
I
looks
saw
down.
that. I saw that.
Yeah.
That
I'd
knowing
never
glance.
noticed that before.
Tim's never
Never
noticed it
noticed
You know,
either.
I've never thought about it, but now that you're describing it, it's like, oh yeah, I know that scene. Did
Yeah.
the girls?
No.
course not.
No.
Of
So I'm
course
curious because your dad
did the
did watch
girls
it with us.
know that penises exist in the world?
We told you about the latching thing. They think that everyone just latches onto each other.
There were a lot of shower
That's
walk-ins.
a way of describing it.
A lot of shower walk-ins into the
We try
bathroom.
to
Not
just
shower
not make it- we
walk-ins,
try to
excuse me,
make
bathroom
nudity not a
walk-ins while
thing.
I'm in
So
the shower.
if you were to make a joke about balls, would they understand that?
Balls, no.
Balls, no.
But
So they do not
penis,
understand
yes.
that there's a spheroid, a pair of spheres that hang off of a male's
They've not
body.
asked about that.
They don't ask about anything.
Yeah.
We try to use the technical terms though.
Yeah.
Always. So yeah. Although, I forgot to tell you this story. Let me just tell you this tiny story. Alice is just like my spirit animal because I actually do find a lot of these words really funny. So the other day we're watching. Alice is reading. She's such a good reader for only being 7. She's so good. So she's reading me this whole book about marsupials. So she starts going through. She's going through the koalas, the anteaters, the blah blah blah, or opossums or whatever. And she gets to one, and it starts talking about. She's just reading along, and she was like, okay. And then when the opossums are born, they latch on to the teats, and and so she starts like continues reading, but then she pauses, and she was like, "Mommy, what's a teat?" I was like, I mean, for me, that's just like I want to like bust, like I just want to bust laughing.
Well,
'cause
that's inappropriate.
I know, but I was like, "Oh, Alice, that's a nipple," and she was like, "I won't make the sound because it'll be very jarring," but I mean, like.
Yeah.
Hysterics. And then she just read the page over and over again. She was like, okay, Mom, I gotta go back here really quick. So when they latch onto the teats, and then she was just like, wow.
And I mean,
like,
technically, yes, it gets there for first approximation. The teat is also the mammary gland upon which the nipple is attached.
so you're saying it's the around part too?
It's the whole organ.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just the bump out.
No, the nipple's the bump out. The
Yeah,
teat,
yeah,
the
yeah.
teat is because the teat is also the milk producing part.
Could
of it.
you stay around and explain that to her? Because
I'd love
I
Why do you want me to go to
accurately-
prison, Carrie?
That's true. I didn't accurately tell her, but I just was like, oh, she's just after my own heart. And I was trying to like play it cool, but it was really funny.
Not sure how to segue out of that back to Temple of Doom.
It was on the same category of what you were
Here
talking
has some
about.
nice teats.
Yeah.
Kate
Yeah.
Capshaw.
Kate
You know what?
Capshaw. I like Kate Capshaw.
You appreciate, not that I didn't appreciate her in this movie. She was doing screwball comedy very well.
She
there.
is my 4th favorite female lead in the Indiana Jones franchise.
Who's your first? Marion?
Yes.
Who's your second is not Allison Duty.
Ilsa. Yeah.
My second is also Marion.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say third is also Marion.
Got
I
it.
do like Marion.
So, so you get the joke.
I got the joke now.
Because there's
Yeah.
4 movies and there's 4 female
movies.
leads, and she's my 4th favorite.
That's
I got
right.
it.
That's
That's
right.
sad.
No, you like
She's
her more.
fine.
Do you like her more than
She's
Allison
fine.
Duty?
She was fun. She like all the laughs. I think for me came like a good amount of laughs came from her in Short Round, which they're
She loves
comic
Short
relief,
Round.
yeah.
And then my favorite part of the entire thing is as a kid, my dad, we just had this routine of like, Carrie, it's time, and then it would be like, okay, tell me when, until like all of the like scary scenes were over. The heart scene, the snake
Carrie
scene.
was covering up her eyes for
So
those
I was, of course,
listening.
I still have never seen the snake dinner scene. I always.
Oh
close my
man,
eyes.
that was like I was glued to that as a fucked up little kid. I was like, when's the snake gonna catch this?
I've never watched it. I didn't watch
It's
it.
dumb and gross and awful, and Lucas and Spielberg should be like literally in prison for putting it in a movie. But other than that, it's good.
Well, good. And the eyeballs, but the girls also covered their eyes, and it was just this like nostalgia kick for me that was awesome.
So
Did they make it through the monkey brain dessert?
they closed their eyes for that too, and I did too. I've never seen the brain.
What about when we've gotten through dinner and Mola Ram reaches in.
No,
No.
that was one
It's hard
they
right now.
absolutely.
I've
asked
never seen
to
that
not see
either.
that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I paused on that one when I was
Yeah.
5 years old.
Oh, I bet
Zoomed
you did.
in. Yeah.
That says something. That says something. So yeah, I was glad I was resistant because I thought maybe like
Well,
they
it's
would
all
disappoint
downhill.
Me.
It's
I
all
thought maybe
downhill
they
then.
wouldn't like it, and then I'd be upset. But they loved it.
All downhill as far as age appropriateness goes.
Completely agree. Last Crusade is a worse movie, and then Crystal Skull is also a worse movie.
They're just always trying to hurt my feelings. Just always trying to hurt my
How is
feelings.
it downhill in terms of age appropriateness? I'd say Last Crusade's a more kid-friendly movie.
Oh, that's what I mean. Sorry.
Getting better. Gets easier.
Getting easier.
Oh,
Makes
oh,
it
oh,
easier.
oh,
Like
gotcha.
we bit off the hardest one to watch as far as worry about.
You don't think the first one's
appropriateness.
scarier when he opens the
I mean, the Nazi faces melt, but
Yeah.
but surely they can appreciate the high
I
quality
tell you,
makeup
I've
effect.
never seen the face melting either.
Oh, it's a very good effect.
I know exactly when to close my eyes on that too, and I've
Oh,
also
but you should-
never
it's a-
seen.
It's a very delicious effect. You should watch it.
I should maybe I'll push myself this time. I've also never seen when they drink the at the end when they drink the water
You've seen that movie like 5,000 times.
I
How have
always
you never
close
once
my
by
eyes.
accident seen it?
because I'm true to my strategies. So, but yeah, maybe one time I'll watch that guy's face melt off too because doesn't he turn into a skeleton?
He turns into his no, yeah, he does. He turns
Yeah.
into his
And
the
I don't-
skin is.
I've seen him after he's dusty, and I was like, this couldn't have been good. So, really excited. So, Rob, thanks for pushing me to do that.
Yeah.
I was resistant, but it was fun.
Yeah, you wanted to watch Holes, 2003
I just
Disney
didn't-
movie
yeah,
with
maybe.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Indiana Jones tie in there.
Fuck that too.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, before we head to our break and then come back with Moonfall, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, I said that already. Get early access and exclusive content, make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more from our Patreon site, celebrating their anniversaries this month. It's Alex Frith with our Razzie Award, Matthew Carlin and James Harrington with the Palme d'Or, and then Devin Hargan with our Critics' Choice Award. Thank you all for being
Thanks,
patrons.
everybody.
Also want to thank all of our... actually, before I do that, Care. Nothing in Tim's sack, but you had a PSA for folks.
I did. They're currently behind
Sack needs
Tim's.
love, everybody. That's the PSA.
So you still can submit your questions if you have them to
give a little
contact at alternateending.com. But also, yeah, I did put out an ask onto the Discord to see if folks would be willing to leave a rating or a star rating for the podcast. So our goal is to get to 200 star ratings. It doesn't mean you have to leave a written review because that feels like a lot of pressure.
You don't even have to give it a good star rating.
No, I mean you don't. I guess have
Give it half.
to.
Give it half.
No, and it would be
Troll
nice.
us. Be a dick. It's funny.
Gosh.
I think it's funny.
I don't
Maybe
think it's that
maybe I'll
funny.
give us a 1-star review.
But my feeling, you don't know how to
This is
log
such a
in.
good podcast, but whenever that woman comes on and starts trying to talk about how I need to review, I just get so resentful. Fuck
So
you all.
resentful. Go hit the 1-star.
there we go.
So get out there and do that. So we really appreciate it. Like I said, we're trying to get to 200 ratings for something that we're trying to do behind Tim's back.
Also,
that-
look at that average. That's such a high. That's an artificially high average.
How's it
We need some
artificially
3
high?
and 4 stars to.
Don't.
We're not that good.
Gosh. Well, what I was going to say is if you happen to leave a nice star rating, you can also leave a review, but not obligated. And I wanted to just share a couple of those. I'll share one today, but I'll maybe share a couple. So thank you from Yes Heloise Ayak. For your review. She or he, they left a review that says, my favorite film podcast, A Slice of Joy. The AE podcast is conversational, funny, and welcoming, with a refreshing spread of opinions in its 3 hosts. I've read critic in residence Tim Brayton's movie reviews for 15 years or so, and the podcast is a perfect counterpoint to his criticism, adding humor, social context, and feelings of community. Isn't that super nice? And then I'm going to read one more, and then I'll read more the next time. But the other one that I thought was funny was from Thixth. Oh, now that I said it out loud.
I don't get it.
Oh, no.
It's 6 cents, but with a slur.
Fenth.
Oh, okay.
Thick thin.
So we're making fun of
Of,
people
of-
with
of potentially homosexuals.
Oh yeah, that too.
Wait, why? I don't even get it. It 6 cents.
Is that what it says?
No, it says thick tenth.
So on a scale of, on a 1 to 10 scale, that's got to be an 8.
That's
right?
on the 8 side.
Is it?
yeah.
I mean, I'm the one who said homosexuals, but I fuck a dude, so it's fine. I
I don't
can say
even
that.
know what I've said, but I will check with you on that later to decide how much
Just
I want you to
listen to this episode and see how much your body just involuntarily shudders when you hear yourself
Playing
say
it back?
those words.
Okay, I will.
We're insulting someone's username right now, by the way. Thank you. We love it when you give us reviews.
We do. I love this username. And it was a nice one for you again, Tim. So it says criticism still lives. Tim Brayton is one of the few working critics who hasn't been destroyed by the great smothering of culture.
I believe that to be true.
Hold true, Tim. Hold true.
That's
I
right.
also think that
So
I am one
thank
of the
you.
few points of light.
You are. Thank you for those reviews. And if you can go out there
Actually,
and do that,
the
we
other- the other
appreciate
week-
it.
The other week, I was telling my partner that it's inappropriate that he doesn't read me because I'm one of the 3 or 4 best living film critics in the English language, and he thought that was an arrogant thing of me to say.
No, I find that.
It's just true. It's just a fact. It's not arrogant if it's a fact.
You just Google best critics, and there you are.
But you know what? I bet there's other
Google,
critics out there that
Google.
have more reviews on their podcasts.
Oh, that's probably true, but that doesn't mean they're better. I mean, McDonald's is billions and billions served. That doesn't mean it's better than, like, I don't know, a steakhouse.
That's fair. Fair.
Also want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here are the things that were purchased. Someone reloaded their Amazon gift card. Did you know you could do that?
I didn't.
Yeah, why waste?
Is it like a digital gift card?
This one is on as a physical Amazon reload. And then there was also an Amazon e-gift card purchase for Veterans Day, which is they're going to be waiting a while to deliver that particular
Gotta
card.
plan ahead.
Yeah, but it is nice that you can get e-gift cards in a variety of different holidays. Also had baby and nursery items, a reusable baby food pouch. You tried that for a bit, Carol.
Yeah, I wanted to be
That's
that
a lot.
mom.
There's a lot of work that goes involved. You
I
did
did
it once,
for
right?
a while. No, I did it a few times, but then I think I overdid it with the beets, and then they became very red.
I think we still have some in our freezer, even though our
I don't
children
like to
now
waste that.
8 and 11 or whatever their ages are.
Whatever your children are.
We also had some hair dye purchase. Carrie, you're a hair dyer.
I
You're
normally.
boxed.
I mean,
like the
dude, by
boxed.
11, your kid should be trying to sneak into, like, Friday the 13th movies, and you were worried about Temple of Doom.
I know.
Gotta toughen them up a little bit.
It's true. I could go for the box dye right now. Look at my hair. Look at this.
Yeah,
So I
those
was-
are some roots.
I was.
I think it would be.
Yes.
I think it's kind of got a distinguishing thing. You'd be like a good, like, imperious, sexy librarian.
You think so?
I do.
I don't wear glasses, but I could wear the fake ones.
You know, I'd like to see in this color, Carrie, deep auburn,
Is auburn's kind of like a burnt
red
color?
brown,
Red
like
brown.
a red brown. I think. Yeah,
I think that would accent.
If it
my-
doesn't
my-
It's not
work,
entirely unlike the shirt that you're currently
Yeah, how
wearing.
is it looking now?
it looks good.
Is
I
it
mean, I buy you that.
illuminating?
Yeah.
Is it illuminating my red face right now?
Nope.
Awkward.
And if that color doesn't work out, you can use the 7-head shaver replacement heads, the 7-blade electric razor kit.
That's a lot of blades.
That was purchased, yes.
7-0.
And then we have books and textbooks purchased, Doing Philosophy, an intro through thought experiments. I love doing it. I always ask Carrie.
I
hey,
like that. That's a good textbook name.
Yeah, I always ask Carrie, hey, Carrie, quick thought experiment.
Yeah.
'Cause she doesn't like committing to things, so I have to preface it that I'm not going to do anything with your answer, depending on how you answer this.
Is it
but I just want you
fair?
to think about it.
Is it fair that I've evolved that way, given your history with
Yes.
executing when I'm like, yeah, that seems cool, and then all of a sudden, whatever it is shows up at our house.
This is true.
Yeah.
Also, book and textbooks. We had Blue Home, Apprentice Rules. I'm not sure what those are. Books and textbooks. White Box, fantastic medieval adventure game. Also, the Books of Earthsea, the complete illustrated edition.
I have been thinking of picking that up.
You being serious?
Is it a fantasy?
It is, yeah, Ursula Le Guin. Phenomenal books.
Kid appropriate?
Yeah. I read them when I was 9.
All right. Abby's just got through Keeper of the Lost City. She's looking for something new.
It's true.
Yeah. Also had the Teaching Contemporary Art with Young People, themes in art for K through 12 classrooms. Have a lot of teachers, I believe, in our listening audience as well too. So it might have been one of them. Bread Machine Cookbook for beginners.
Gotta get that.
So you need the bread machine. Isn't it just 3 ingredients? I guess you could do different types of bread and require some more
you can make a
challenges.
sourdough. Some of
things.
them were charging. You get into those cinnamon raisin swirl ones, and you gotta plan ahead on that kind of thing.
Also, Studio Thinking 2, the real benefits of visual arts education, art-centered learning across the curriculum. We also had a camera and photo equipment purchase, an RS PC interface cable. Okay. Also had a power Joy-Con for Nintendo Switch. Nice. A USB 2.0 serial pin purchased. Nishiki brown rice, 15-pound bag.
Gosh, that's your
brown rice. That's
favorite.
The quality. That's the good stuff there.
That is
yeah.
the good stuff.
Also had MRE replacement. Someone's out of their stash.
replacements, yeah.
Had to get some
Still
more.
working on those.
COVID's still out there.
That's true.
A Be Cool. I think someone took the idea of the soft shell sheets, or just maybe replenish them for the migraines, Tim. Could be your mom. Also had a pack of 3 clear craft photo frames, a Loctite. Oh, some more Loctite as well too. Maybe some more wounds as well. And then just a number of Kindle ebooks: The Book of Stranger Things, the Hebrew book in early modern Italy, Leopold Zunz, The Creativity in Adversity, My Father's Paradise, A Son's Search for His Family Past, Prolific Jewish Literature and Antiquity, The Evil Inclination of Early Judaism and Christianity, some kitchen and dining items. Tough to segue from that to kitchen and dining items.
Thank you,
Well, I was going to say,
Gavin,
do you ever stop and ponder that one day our theology student is going to graduate and our Amazon
It's gonna tank.
haul is going to drop by like
I
40%?
believe he's in the midst of writing a really long paper, or several
Take
long
your
papers.
time.
Have we told you about double spacing?
No, take as long as you need. You take a couple years. Get it right.
Get that chapter 1 out.
Yeah. Nice. We also had a whisk purchased, an electric kettle, temperature control with the electric kettle with temperature control, very nice for your teas. We decided to go coffee this time late in the afternoon, but yeah, we sometimes
I'm gonna pay
do the
for it
tea.
later.
Yes, we will not be sleeping. Also, a silicone baking cup muffin liner. You don't
want those.
bake enough muffins.
You know what? I used to bake muffins, but I've run out of time. But I
You
would
know
like
something? Silicon. I have a silicon. My mother has silicon baking cups, which sounds like what this is. I have an actual silicon muffin tin. It changes your life. It's like the first moment that you orgasm.
Just
but
slips
better.
right off.
It's so
Slips
good.
right out, yep.
They're just. You get these perfectly brown muffins. They're so good. Make muffins in silicon.
to. I
don't
always
even.
feel like
I'm blathering.
the chemicals from the plastic are going to leach.
It's silicone. It's not
into
plastic.
it.
Yeah,
It's
non-leachable. Non-leachable.
So I feel like the silicon chemicals are going to leach into my muffin.
But that doesn't happen. That's 'cause
How do you
it's-
know?
Because
the
it's silicone.
temperature of that silicone.
I mean, if
silicone
it's
thing
safe
is
enough to put in
very
your
high.
boobs, it's safe enough to put on your food.
When have I put silicone on my boobs?
You don't.
for a
but
boob job?
Oh, like
cool women
in my
do.
boob. I see. Yeah, that's true. I guess it wouldn't absorb. I'll think about it.
Yeah, think
I'll
about that.
it.
Think about the boobs. Oh, the muffins.
The muffins.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about muffins right now, if you know what I mean.
I don't.
Also had
Saying I'd like
airtight.
to have some of Carrie's muffins with you, Rob.
Also had airtight food storage containers. Where
much
to go?
coffee,
Where to go?
too much coffee.
A musical instrument was purchased. A metronome.
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah.
click.
A Baumgarten's magazine organizer for folks still reading physical magazines. These are still a thing, people.
Those are my mother's. Those were to put the brochures that we have gotten from many years of going to the Lyric Opera of Chicago. You get the playbill. I wanted to keep them in a nice place, and she finally pulled the trigger on doing that.
Very nice. Drive shaft track through axle bike rack. Also patio. We have a lot of things we're going through because we had a backlog of things from our trip
Yeah,
there.
this is long.
So this is a long read. Thank you all for being patient through it. A pet ramp.
Oh, I don't want to hear about
Man,
that.
I just feel like a ramp doesn't do much. Do you
No, but what if
do you
it's like,
feed it? Do you take it like?
Oh,
do you just
gosh.
drag it along behind you on walks?
But,
I don't like to think about
oh,
a
a
ramp.
beard face mask. Wow, that's nice.
That feels like
Not-
something you would order.
Seems a bit like they made it for men with beards, and like it's unnecessary. Like you could just use a normal face mask. But yeah, this is
Unknown.
one for it. Write us in. Let me know if I have a beard. Tim has a beard. Do we need a beard face mask?
I have a beard.
Maderma, you're a big Maderma
Well, he was
fan.
talking about you and said he has a beard.
Yeah. Maderma Advanced Scar Gel. So maybe like after the Loctite heals the wound, fixes the wound, then you put a little Maderma Scar Gel on
I
it.
wish
to
I had done
have
that.
it
I
go
have
away.
all those scars, and I didn't, and I feel like I should have planned ahead.
Yeah,
Is it
vitamin
too
E
late,
also
do you think?
works. It's never too late. I believe it will help. It's certainly better earlier in the process.
Okay.
Someone who else needs that Scar Gel is on Blu-ray and DVD, 4K of Rambo. We talked about Rambo a little bit earlier. A Titanic was purchased on Blu-ray. Howl's
love
Moving
it.
Castle on Blu-ray.
gonna
Close
maybe like
Encounters
it.
of the Third Kind, the director's cut on Blu-ray. Annihilation on 4K.
about cancer.
Ponyo. So a little
Ponyo.
bit of a Ghibli run there on Blu-ray as well too.
Yeah.
And then video on demand for rental. My Inconvenient Truth, My Hard Labor, My Own Worst Enemy, a lot of my's. VFW.
Sounds like some sort of marathon.
The Ice Harvest, Cabin in the Sky, Transformers, Age of Extinction, The Furies, and Wrong Turn 4, Bloody Beginnings, the unrated version.
I'm thrilled to know that they got up to a fourth.
I was going to ask, how far have you
At
covered
least
this
four.
on Bride of AE? Any wrong turns?
I've seen 0 wrong turns.
Okay, for Bride of AE folks. When we get back, we're going to be chatting a little bit about Moonfall. We'll catch you then.
Pass the popcorn. Pass the popcorn. Pass the popcorn. Pass the popcorn. Pass the popcorn.
And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about Moonfall. We're going to start off with a little bit of a plot summary, our initial thoughts, and then just dive right into spoilers. Carrie will likely break the spoiler rule early, so be prepared for that. We will designate it where appropriate when we get to spoilers.
I'm going to be very careful, Rob.
Be very careful.
Be very
so
careful.
walk us. So Roland Emmerich. This is a Roland Emmerich flick, Care. You've seen, I think, and enjoy a good portion of his.
Give me some of his movies. You
of
said
his work.
Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Love. What are some of his other movies?
Yeah.
Independence Day 2.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't think I've
Well,
actually
yeah.
seen that.
Bit of a.
What else?
I like The Day After Tomorrow.
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Okay.
2012.
All right.
These are all just coming from Tim's memory.
Stargate.
Okay.
Oh, also I like Stargate.
Universal Soldier.
I haven't seen any of these, but
10,000 BC.
you know which one I like? Independence Day.
You never seen Day After Tomorrow?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Or
What about-
maybe.
What
I
about
don't know.
Stonewall? His very sensitive action movie version of the Stonewall uprising.
Day After Tomorrow, I'm picturing.
Oh, there's another one. The Shakespeare one.
The Shakespeare one, Anonymous.
Shakespeare in Love?
Anonymous.
Oh, Anonymous. Okay.
Yeah, he's a big
Anonymous.
conspiracy theorist, which I think really shows up in this film. I
Does
think
it?
we're going to have some problems with people watching this, and then like
Thinking that that's what they're
where
gonna get?
some of the plot points, which are part of spoiler territory, I just need to know up front: is this things like is this mainstream? People think that there are people who think of that this is what it
Oh,
is.
I never heard of it.
Okay, I just didn't know if
It seemed plausible to me. I'm sold. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with the non-spoiler portion. I'll tell you
Sure.
what happens. So, Rob and I get into the movie theater. It's a date night. We're really excited. We get there, and I turn to Rob.
Oh,
as-
you're legitimately telling us you're starting all the way from square one.
this is how Carrie
from the
does
beginning.
it.
Okay.
From the beginning.
Just a quick brief.
Would you
From
like my
the beginning.
Can I give you my quick brief?
Yes.
And then we
Yes.
can go to Carrie's
Yes.
quick
Yes.
brief.
Yes.
The moon is going to crash into the earth.
Boom. Yes.
Carrie,
Starring.
give us your version, Carrie.
I was going to say the moon was falling, but
So you were at the movie theater. Did you go to the concession stand?
did not. It was one of those you could order food.
I did. I got an iced tea. I got one of those big like things of beverage because I was very sleepy, so I knew I was going to caffeinate.
I had a veggie burger. I had a veggie burger. It was not very good.
Movie theater food isn't.
It's not.
Oh,
It's
you went to
No, we did.
Flick's
to
Brew House.
redacted name, but it's terrible food.
Terrible food. Terrible food.
Their chicken fingers always give me the runs.
Oh, really? Their French fries do, but honestly, I get a double order every time.
I mean, you gotta.
Just too good.
It's gotta be
I do
I'm
like
just
their
gonna
French fries.
pour oil into my body while I'm sitting here for a 2-hour movie.
Right,
It'll be
exactly.
a race against time, and then there's that hour-long bus ride home. It's great. I
I'm
love
sorry,
it.
I'm having a moment myself, Tim. I just found out that Stargate has been announced again.
They're remaking it.
Yes, and attached is Roland Emmerich again.
That is not new.
Yeah,
That is not new.
that is not new information. This is bothering me.
But it is
Yeah.
no. I mean, he's been trying to do this for some time, and he has so far not been permitted.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you what this movie's about?
I'd like to know. Give me some names. Who's
So-
in this, Karen?
Oh gosh. Well, to start off, Roland Emmerich did this, the guy that we talked about. Then you're just thinking it's huge. There's all these people. Right as the lights go down, I turned to Rob and I was like, I have no idea.
Is it huge? It's just like two names.
It has. Are there two?
Every time I try to tell you about this movie, you guys cut me off, and I'm
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is, I was like, I have no idea what this movie is about. And Rob was like, it's for the best, like whispered back. So if I'm being really honest, I thought this was a James Bond movie. I thought it was like a sequel to Skyfall.
There was just a James Bond movie like 3 weeks ago.
I know, but I thought it was in the James Bond family. I thought it was in the Skyfall family, like Moonfall. Now the sky's
a
falling, now the moon's falling, everything's falling. So
As it crumbles, like that.
kind of, yeah. And I was really surprised to see that it was about space.
It's about space, it's about the moon.
It's about the moon. Opens up with that. There's some people in space. And let me tell you about who's in it. Like Rob said, this is Halle Berry.
Yeah, someone whose last interesting choice as an actress was deciding
Monsters
to become
Ball?
an actress. She's
Oh.
a terrible actress. Monsters Ball is a horrible movie, and she's bad in it.
I haven't seen it. I was trying to be cool by saying that movie out loud.
I do not like Halle Berry.
Oh,
I have never liked
really.
Halle Berry.
Do you not find her to be in the top 10 loveliest things you've ever seen, though?
Well, I mean, she is easy on the eyes.
Gosh, she's lovely. I really find her lovely. I liked her as Catwoman as well.
I thought
Are
so.
you fucked in the head?
Okay.
Maybe.
Can we say that she gave the best performance in this?
No.
Oh,
No,
wow.
John
Okay.
Bradley for sure.
Patrick Wilson for sure.
Oh,
no,
wow. I
Patrick
thought-
Wilson.
oh.
That was the worst.
Wow, we are
performance.
divided on
Patrick
this.
Wilson. You know what Patrick Wilson did? Patrick Wilson was like looking down at his sleeve and then like reading his lines. The world is going to end. Oh dear. And then looking back up because it was like the most phoned in performance I've ever seen.
No,
from
I
him.
will actually agree with you. Bradley was the only one who seemed to be happy to be on set.
Yes.
Yeah, I had fun
in a
with
way
him.
that turned me off.
His joy was
He was like
off-putting.
a poor man's James Corden.
He's very specifically a poor man's Josh Gad, apparently.
Oh, Josh Gad. Okay.
Gad was
100%.
offered the part and said no.
Okay.
I 100% agree with that. So it's Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, Charlie Plummer's in this, who we knew from a movie called Spontaneous that we saw and loved.
I knew him from All the Money in the World.
All the money in the world.
Yeah. And Michael Pena, a very
my
underutilized
gosh.
Michael Pena.
Underutilized.
Misused is the word.
I'd say
Yeah.
under. I'd say under.
Both,
personally.
all the things. Those are the names that you would actually recognize. There's a whole host of other people.
And Donald Sutherland.
oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Just
that was weird.
Obscure English actor Donald Sutherland.
It was such a mini
He had
part.
some work
though.
to get back to.
He is in about 90 seconds of cinema.
He's about 90 seconds. So basically,
Genuinely
then
not sure if there's even a cut. He might have come in, done one take, and left.
he's pissed about it too. He's like not happy that he was in this movie. So he probably just said to like 90
Donald
seconds.
Sutherland's got bills to pay.
So basically, yes, Tim then described it as well. We find out that there's a mysterious force that's happening as the moon is orbiting, and it is going to crash into the Earth. And it's basically, I'm going to give you guys a hot take here. It's basically a reboot of Armageddon. That nobody asked for but me.
Some Armageddon in there.
I would have even taken
And then
it.
I think I'm ready to go into spoilers from this point, because this movie jumps the shark for me at a specific point where I was like, I'm out. And that point is maybe spoiler territory.
I'm
I think
willing
the
to
poster.
bet money that the point that it jumped the shark for you is the point where I went for the Letterboxd heart.
Okay, so let's
should
just
we
do the
jump right
line in the sand.
Just
Let's
so
jump
we're
into
on
the
same
spoilers.
Okay, we are now in spoilers for Moonfall. Aliens, Tim.
Yep, I was right. I
And
called
they
it.
and they went early into the it started early.
So here was my relationship to Moonfall. Trailer 1, the moon's going to crash into the Earth, directed by Roland Emmerich. Okay, I'm interested. Trailer 2, the moon is a giant alien robot that's going to crash into the Earth. Motherfucker, buy my ticket now. I have been very excited for this. If we had done our fall anticipated, this would have been my number, or spring anticipated, this would have been my number 3.
Oh, okay.
I was very into the ad campaign.
Yeah, I just wanted it to be more day after tomorrow,
see,
naturalistic,
I don't
like
like
climate
Day After Tomorrow
changey.
very much.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it turned into
I was-
Independence Day basically. too.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this. So Emmerich has made many a disaster film. He's made Independence Day, which is really a disaster film, even though it's an alien movie. 2012, Day After Tomorrow. Even Godzilla is really kind of a disaster film.
Mm-hmm.
I would rank this one as worse than 2012, but better than Day After Tomorrow. That is where I would categorize it.
I mean, I agree worse than 2012 because
2012 is his best
I
movie.
can't agree with you on because I enjoyed Day After Tomorrow.
But Tim, when we talked about this in the car, you said 2 to 2.5 stars.
Yes.
Okay, still
Oh, that's
there.
right. That's where I was
He
at.
makes bad movies.
Yeah.
I
But
think
usually
there is an
they're fun.
extremely good argument that the only good Roland Emmerich film is Stargate, and that is asking the word good to do a little bit of work that it maybe should.
Other than the 5-star Independence Day.
Independence
And
Day is
that-
terrible. I find it very
I'm
irritating.
actually struggling to come up with things I actually enjoyed and liked about the movie. I can only think of negative things.
What I can tell you I enjoyed was this is the problem that I had with it. It felt like somebody who made Independence Day or some of these bigger movies where I was looking around at all the animation or CGI or whatever you want to call it, like the disaster elements of it, and was like, wow, this is like the scale of this is so big, and like the waves and everything rushing, like everything is so big. And then it was paired with this like fresh out of college script. Like I just felt like it was so rigid and boring.
That's the Emmerich deal. That's what he does.
But
That's
I
like
don't
every one of
remember
his
that from
films.
other movies.
That's like
I also had
revisit Godzilla.
I think unlike his other films, and maybe there's other ones to point at it, like that this happens, is the Carrie was talking about the scale of the disaster.
Yeah.
I felt like I never got a sense that people died other than like individuals.
Sure.
And usually, like with 2012, like you're seeing
well, this is why 2012 is
Thousands
his best
of people
disaster movie, because you can feel the
wiped
scale,
off.
the scale of it.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, I think in the New York only sequences of Independence Day, I get that, although not in the other cities do I get that. No, so I'll spot you that. No, for me, it is not a good movie. It's not.
Yeah.
There will be no argument for me that it's good. I would say that it is a hoot. And here is for me the energy level that I went into the film, and it delivered hard on this. Do you guys remember a classic and very important work of American cinema from 2003, The Core?
oh yeah.
So, do you remember how in the trailer, Stanley Tucci gets very serious? He does this in the movie as well, and says, "The core of the Earth has stopped spinning." I wanted Moonfall to deliver that much earnest stupidity. And they say the core of the Earth has stopped spinning one time in the core. Do you know how many goddamn times they say the moon has fallen out of orbit?
That and if it
They
was
say it like 7 times.
that and if it was a drinking game of saying megastructures.
You read my Letterboxd review.
Oh no.
That is literally my Letterboxd
Oh,
review.
there you
it's
go.
like, caution, you're going to need a ride home if you decide to play a drinking game with megastructures.
I wanted it to be dumb.
Yeah.
I needed it.
was.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So it lived up to my expectations.
and that's
I
what I
see.
wanted too, but it wasn't dumb in the way that I guess I wanted it to be.
And didn't you feel like there was this huge disconnect between this totally phoned in experience from Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, and pretty much everybody else who's just like does not want to be there? And then you have John Bradley, who like the Josh Gad guy.
Yeah, John Bradley, he knows that this is so. If you're Halle
like,
Berry,
funny.
if you're
He's-
Halle
yeah.
Berry, you're like, I have an Oscar and now I'm making Moonfall. If you're John Bradley, you're like, I'm getting to be in a movie.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the thing. The career arcs of Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson are of unmitigated failure and disappointment. Like their early promise, just film after film. I mean, Patrick Wilson
Yes.
is a scarlet mark at this point.
Well,
If he
he's
isn't
in
a-
Watchmen.
If he isn't a cast, Watchmen is bad.
Yeah.
Is
It's
it?
a long,
Oh.
If
long time
Patrick
ago.
Wilson is he's a talented actor. I like him. If he is in a movie, it's not good.
Do you like the Conjuring movies?
Oh, he's good. Those are good movies.
Yeah, I thought
but
he was
those are
good in
Vera
those.
Farmiga movies. Those are
Yeah,
Vera
yeah,
Farmiga
okay,
movies.
okay.
But like that's the thing. Like Phantom of the Opera and fucking Watchmen. Like Patrick Wilson is just he's just one of those actors who just like accrues bad juju, right? So like, and he knows that. Like Patrick Wilson is not.
He's accepted it.
He knows who he is. He knows what his career is. He knows that he's in Insidious 5.
Yeah.
And so he's not going to come up and he's not going to show up on set and have fun.
Energy,
He
yeah.
knows that he's in a Roland Emmerich film that's being co-produced as Chinese propaganda. And
Oh
boy,
my
howdy.
gosh. So yes.
boy, oh boy,
What?
oh boy.
Yes. So I told you the
Yeah,
Chinese money.
a lot of Chinese
Yeah,
money.
but
in this movie.
But why? Where's the propaganda piece?
Well, remember how, thank God, the Chinese
Chinese-
had that booster because we would never
Yeah.
have gone to space.
But here's my question on that. Like, maybe that's kind of nice. I always feel like
I'm not saying it's not nice. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying it was bought and paid for by the Chinese
Yeah.
government. in
Now,
a
along with
very-
Lexus,
in a
along
very
with
literal
Ka-
sense, it was
along
bought
with
and paid for by the
Kaspersky.
Chinese government.
it'd be nice to be like, let's take a worldview on this, and maybe we're helped out by another country.
And I'm not saying it can't be
Yeah.
nice. I'm just saying
It happens in Arrival,
it for
but it
sure
does-
was
True.
bought and
Oh,
paid
I got
for
the
by
Arrival vibes.
in
in
Arrival,
this too.
it's done a little bit with more panache.
Did you get
than
the
this.
Arrival vibes when they
No,
go
I
into
didn't
that
get it.
white?
Arrival is
No.
a movie made by artists.
Yes.
No, but so okay,
and
the
this is a
scene-
movie made by a circus clown.
The scene where they go into that white space and they're just
Yes.
like in the void.
Oh, okay.
I was getting Arrival vibes there.
2001.
Yeah, it's
Arrival 2001.
sure. All from the same origin.
Oh,
the
is it?
thing that I said when the movie was over and I turned to one of my friends, the pilot episode of Deep Space Nine, which is not, I don't think a reference that you guys would get, but oh yeah, nothing. No, there are no original ideas in this film. He's
Yeah.
just,
No,
he's
it didn't
stealing.
feel-
He's
yeah.
just stealing everything he
Yeah,
possibly.
you
Yeah,
got
no, it felt like
Contact
that.
in when Patrick
Some
Wilson's
Contact.
A little bit
Sure.
of Gravity maybe in the beginning, a little bit.
Oh, for sure,
Sure.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Gravity, shamelessly,
Yeah.
disgustingly shameless.
And then the sacrifice
Also,
piece.
I have to say, I knew that I was in for the movie that I wanted to be in for when it opened with a completely random, no, these are the lyrics to Africa argument.
Oh my god.
And it was like, it feels like you wrote that scene in 1994. Reservoir Dogs has just come out. And at some point in the last 30 years, someone has got to tell you, don't have the Africa scene. And you just hold on to it.
And you still did.
Because fuck you. And I loved it. I
Yeah.
wanted a movie that would constantly feel like it was insulting me.
So what about the
And
lore?
it did so.
What about the lore? Because you also get Battlestar Galactica.
Get some Battlestar Galactica
As
for
far
sure.
as the lore is that we've been seated. Prometheus.
We've been seated.
Yeah.
It's the he's into the chariots of the gods thing because
Yeah.
look at Stargate.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's right. Yes.
So
that's
again,
right.
well,
Yeah.
if there's a crypto weird ass like flat Earth lizard people, Shakespeare's plays were written by a closeted whatever. Then by God, Roland Emmerich believes it's
Yeah,
true.
I guess I didn't care for this lore. I do like the Stargate lore. I think that's probably accurate as to how things happened in
Yeah.
Egypt and how the pyramids came to be.
Obviously.
That said,
Undoubtedly.
do you feel like this is going to cause? I'm curious, like if there's a Google trend, like are people looking up mega structures now and like we're gonna
No.
A dozen people saw this movie.
Okay.
And
Phew.
I know half of them.
It's all in this room.
Yeah.
We're all in this room.
It's all the people who showed up for
I
bagels
mean-
at when the guy was putting them out for mega structures.
I laughed
right.
at the bagel joke.
Yeah, that was funny.
I'm sorry. I laughed at the bagel joke. I had an unironic laugh at Moonfall. I
So
feel
Tim-
really bad at myself.
Tell me, what did Spencer think of this film? You said that you went to go see it.
Are we using Spencer as the
name for your partner? Because I don't know.
Super into it.
Oh, he liked it.
Yes, the other friend who is not someone that I'm sleeping with fell asleep. So he was a little not engaged. He was not clicking with the movie, but myself and Horatio were both hooting and hollering.
Horatio.
And
I like Horatio better.
every time the fat Brit did anything, he like very theatrically groaned, and it was delightful.
It was delightful. Oh, see, that's part of the experience.
So your rating is not based on enjoyment; it's based on
ironic enjoyment.
Ironic enjoyment.
Yes.
Kind of like Malignant.
I just figure
no,
like it
that's
would
not
be a
ironic.
higher rating.
Well, no, it's a terrible piece of shit.
Got it.
It's very
But
badly
you enjoyed
made.
it.
It's a very badly made film that scratched every itch I walked. I wanted it to be the core. And it
Yeah,
was
I
the
do
core.
love the. Gosh, I love the core.
You see, that's the thing. I love the core ironically.
Okay.
And I love Moonfall ironically.
Ironically. Okay. We must have missed the mark on it for us.
No, I mean, it's just, I was okay, this is a guy who's probably best film, certainly best disaster film, because Stargate's not a disaster film. Stargate's his best film. 2012 opens with Chiwetel Ejiofor getting very, very sober-faced to announce that the neutrinos have mutated. Which if you know a fact about neutrinos, it's probably that mutation is a nonsense word. His films are dumb. They're not just like dumb, like lots of movies are dumb, you know? I'm trying to think of a good example of like a harmlessly... Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom is a dumb movie.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's cute. It's fun. It's good.
It's fun.
Yeah, but how many stars do you give it?
Probably 4.
You're at 4. I checked. Yes.
What are you at?
I was at 5 because I
But
just had a good time with it.
It's dumb.
Because you want
Like
me
it's
to
not
stay
smart.
married to you. Yeah.
It's not literate. It's
candy.
just
It's a
just
candy
It's like
movie,
we're gonna hop out of the plane and we're gonna land on a mountain and we're gonna scoot down the mountain on a raft. That's dumb.
Fast and Furious.
But it's dumb and fun. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're just gonna go have fun at this dumb movie. Emmerich's films are dumb in this like deep set hostile way. And I don't even think Moonfall is his dumbest film. He made a movie about how Shakespeare. He made Anonymous. Anonymous is a crazy dumb movie that I also love. So part of it for me is just the wantonness, the shamelessness. The people who like Michael Bay feel about Michael Bay the way I feel about Roland Emmerich.
Yeah. I hear that.
It's like
I hear that.
you're doing something tawdry and disreputable, and I love it.
And I love it anyway. Yeah. No, I feel that. So do we recommend people go see it? I think this review is really selling. It's sold some people. It has definitely sold some people.
Here's the thing. If the confluence of The Core and Day After Tomorrow and throw 2012 on there feels like it's your jam, then this is your jam, I would say.
And based on earlier discussion, you're saying I made the right choice in seeing this over Jackass and Jackass Forever in theaters.
I don't know. I haven't seen Jackass Forever in theaters.
That's true.
I don't get Jackass. Jackass is like this. It's like trying to understand. I think the comparison I made in a text to a friend, I understand people who love Jackass about as well as I understand Akkadian cuneiform. It's like I don't understand it at all.
Well, this was a fun discussion.
Well,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
Please
want to
go
throw
ahead.
one last thing out, and this is still in spoiler territory, but I gotta know you guys. So there's a white room that manifests alien consciousness through people you know in your life. There's a fucking original idea. And fat Brit man, charming, chubby. He's not fat. He's chubby.
No, he's not anything.
He's chubby.
He's perfect. I thought he was cute.
He poops. Was it a bummer to anybody else that they didn't follow up the IBS thing?
Oh,
Like they make a
Sure.
Now
big
that
plot
you
point
say
about
it,
it.
now
and
that
it's
you
like,
say it.
why isn't there a scene where he's got to like
sure.
Floating
do
poop?
something, but not floating poop? That's gross. But like he's got to like do something, and it has to be done timely. But
Yeah.
he's got to poop.
Yeah,
that
Is he going to be able to get
Missed
it done
opportunity.
before he
Before
poops,
he
or does he
poops,
have to go
yeah.
poop
Because also
and then come back?
people are interested in knowing how astronauts poop. Like I'm actually legitimately curious how that
you
process
know?
works. No, I have no idea.
I want to know this so bad now.
I mean, it's
Do you think it's a
Googleable.
cone? I bet it's a
Googleable.
cone situation.
But so
Seashells.
the adorably chubby Brit with IBS is in a white space, and what manifests
Smother.
not first.
Was it the kitty?
First, his cat Fuzz Aldrin, which I also laughed at unironically. His cat manifests.
We laughed too.
And then later, his cat and his mother manifest together. Did anyone else think the cat was going to talk, and were they slightly disappointed that the cat did not talk?
It didn't cross my mind.
No.
All three of us who I saw it with were like, I kind of thought the cat was going to talk.
It would have
That
been
would've made-
cool.
yeah.
It would have
Yeah.
been kind of good,
Yeah.
right?
It would have been kind of like
would've been-
Escape from Witch Mountain-ish.
It would have
and
been
I
a
would have
little
been
like,
into
you
it.
know what you're doing and you're leaning into it a little bit. And I was a little bit disappointed. that the
Yeah.
cat didn't talk.
Again,
If you're
two
going to go
misses.
for it, you go
If you're
for
going to
it.
go for it, you go
Go
for
big.
it.
Yeah. Well, it was a fun discussion, and I don't regret seeing it because, yeah, I guess it did in fact deliver what I was thinking.
I
never-
hooted, I hollered, I laughed, I cried.
And I gave it 2 stars.
I still haven't decided between 2 and 2.5, but the heart's solid.
Well, normally we would be having as our next episode our top 5, and for next week we're going to be doing our top 5 endings, thanks to Jack Chivers. However, it's Oscar week next week, Oscar nominations week, so we're going to be
Okay.
having a little special Pass the Popcorn. Also going to be introducing Brennan. Brennan's going to be kind of taking the lead over as far as Pass the Popcorns. I'll be showing up to pass
For
the
some of the episodes,
pass the
I think it'll be a
popcorn
little
on.
mix, a
Yeah,
little
a little
hodgepodge.
bit of a mix, but we're going to be getting writers, contributor Mandy Albert and Chris Trengove, Brennan, myself, Carrie, and Tim all together to react to the Oscar nominations. Which it sounds like, Tim, you all are very down on the Oscars' ability to pick the right movie to be nominated, let alone win.
That's
a fair
that has been
consensus.
historically true for all 95 years of the Academy Awards.
All right. Well, we'll see if it's 96 years now. I guess I don't know which.
This
Academy
is year 95.
Year 95.
I'm just taking it for granted.
I'm a little nervous for that episode that I'm going to get a little bit buried.
Yeah.
I feel like this starts to get really cinephile with that group. So I feel like I might not know what's going on.
Yeah, we're trying something new.
you'll
It'll be
just have
a
to
good chat.
Bring it back to me. Bring it back if I look a little glazed.
All right. Well, in closing, I want to thank
I'll
everybody.
keep throwing it to you. I'll be
Yes.
like, so, Carrie, this movie that we both thought is a giant piece of shit. You like it, right?
Tell us more. Tell us more. Yes.
Well, in closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. Head out to our Facebook page and like it, Twitter, where we're tweeting all the time. We are, in fact, tweeting all the time. Instagram, we're Instagramming. AlternateEnding.com and find all our movie reviews, podcasts. and more.
Have we started TikToking yet?
No, we have not. TikTok. I have
when are we
the
gonna start
vanity name.
I feel like I always ask when he's going to start TikToking, and you never have an answer for me.
I need to figure out good TikTok. I don't even know what it is, really. I still have no clue what it is. Just short videos?
I think so.
Okay, we'll figure it out. If you want longer videos, head out to our YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and Google. Throw a like up there. Get us a review on the podcast as well, too. And don't forget
I
about
believe the
Patreon.
term is smash that like
Smash
button.
that button. Free bagels.